Hi, volunteers. Thank you for joining the very first official Adopt a Drain meet and greet. We organize this event to get to know each other and strengthen the program. So first, I'd like to thank our partner, BG&E, whose safety grant has provided the funding for this program, and especially to our sponsors who have directly helped us purchase new tool sets. That would be Vicki Geller, present, Elizabeth Woodruff, Kim Pellick, who is also a volunteer, Jim Halcomb, Peter Edelin, who sponsored twice, Mark Miller, Pam Long, and the nice people at the Ellicott City Partnership. So we'll start by introducing ourselves, the EcoWorks team, then we'll go around and meet the volunteers. We'll start by telling the group your name, where you live, which strains you've adopted, and just for fun, tell me your favorite restaurant in Ellicott City. So I'll get started. I'm Virginia. I'm the nursery manager and volunteer assistant at Howard EcoWorks. I like to think I have adopted all of the drains, and I'm from Woodstock, and my favorite Ellicott City restaurant is the Syriana Cafe. So next we'll speak to Jordan.
Sure. So I'm Jordan. I'm the program assistant here at Howard EcoWorks. I'm sure I've been in communication with a number of you before on adopting drains. I live in Ellicott City, and my favorite restaurant in Ellicott City is the Phoenix Brewing Company.
My name's Lori. I'm the executive director. I don't want to pick one favorite restaurant. I like all of them. So I'm going to defer.
Good answer.
So you got,
and Vicki. All right, you're on mute. If you want to type something in the chat, we'd like to hear from you.
You can just keep going.
No? All right. Okay, yeah, we'll continue. So it's nice to see a few people here, and now we'll hear from our executive director, Lori.
Okay. I wanted to give our Adopt-A-Drainers a short presentation about Howard EcoWorks and our work in Ellicott City. So I want to make sure that the volunteers are aware of what our mission is, which is to empower communities and diverse workforces to respect and restore natural systems for future generations. We are a regional force for environmental and social change with our programs and work to empower people into green jobs opportunities. Our primary client is Howard County government, but we have some other funders and have a growing fee-for-service or social enterprise program. I've been involved in Ellicott City for a long time, starting in 2011 with the development of a watershed plan for the Tiber Hudson watershed when I was at the Center for Watershed Protection. And since I have served on a number of committees and work groups and done a lot of different types of volunteer and professional related activities in the watershed. Some of the work that I guess I'm most proud of is the development of the debris management program, which we started in 2015 as a result of the 2011 flood. And that program has since been institutionalized with the Howard County government. I've also been involved in planning a stream restoration project around just upstream of the Ellicott City Colored School, developed at the Ellicott City Soak It Up campaign, which I'll talk a little bit about. Lead in research for biochar as a runoff reduction tool. Have participated and led a lot of educational activities, including this Adopt a Drain program. The debris maintenance program, as I mentioned, was started in 2015. as a direct result of a recommendation in a consultant report after the 2011 flood that said that debris blockages were one of the contributing factors to flooding. This is our team in a very difficult to access part of the watershed, removing these big steel girders. It would have been very expensive to get a crane out there and remove this steel girder, but with the power of people, we were able to get it out of the stream channel, not without difficulty. It was pretty hard. But we're very glad now that the stream maintenance program has been adopted by Howard County government as part of the Safe and Sound plan, and it's been expanded to include 56 points all around the county. And after triggering wind or rain events, our teams go out and inspect at these points and then coordinate the removal of debris. Prior to the 2016 flood, I was involved in a lot of different education outreach efforts. I found this old slide that thought was interesting to look at because it's still very relevant in terms of the types of education and types of work that we still want to pursue. These whiskey rain barrels that you can still find around town. They amazingly did not float away in the floods. Well, I think maybe one of them or two of them did, but there's still this one that's over by the wine bin where we did our demonstration project, and there's still a couple of the other ones around town. That was some of our early effort to educate the community about stormwater and how we can keep it retained on site. These tours, which we've continued to do, this is a picture of Delegate Flanagan in the stream channel with Dave Myers. And it was really important in the early days that we get the local elected officials and state elected officials out into the watershed to see what was going on. And that's still a really important part of what we do in terms of education. We had this early flood preparedness video that we did that actually got aired at the wine bin in 2016, right before the big flood. That was interesting. And yeah, we've done lots of workshops and things with the Clean, Green, and Safe Committee. We received funding from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation to implement the Soak It Up campaign, which has just been completed in the fall of 2020. This was a campaign for engagement of the community and a high level of implementation of small best management practices in the watershed using our green jobs programs. The focus of the project was largely around the conversion of turf grass to native landscapes. And this graphic shows you why we want to convert turf grass. It's almost equivalent to concrete in terms of the runoff that it produces because it has such a shallow root system, and it doesn't allow, at a lot of times, it's on compacted soils. So the water just flows off. And you can see here a picture of switchgrass, which has roots that can be 6 or more feet deep and allow the water to soak into the ground. So a lot of our Ellicott City Soak It Up campaign was focused on turf grass conversion. Like I said, we just completed this work. It was a $150,000 grant implemented over a period of 2.5 years since before the 2018 flood. We did lots and lots of site visits with landowners, ended up installing 16 different projects. And a result of that is what you see here in terms of pounds of nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment that were reduced as a result of those projects. And that's a really important metric for a lot of funders, especially in the Chesapeake Bay. We engaged a lot of people through our program, through all the different events that we had. And even, I was counting, trying to figure out how to count how many people watched the Gordon Ramsay production and put that into my grant in terms of deliverables for how many people we reached through that show, which was probably millions of people. In our work with under the Fish and Wildlife Foundation, we've been exploring biochar, which is a soil amendment similar to compost, but lasts a lot longer in the soil. We're exploring this as an opportunity for runoff reduction and infiltration of stormwater with the University of Delaware. Biochar has a lot of other co-benefits, like it sequesters carbon in the ground and it removes pollutants, and it's very cost effective compared to other types of stormwater VMPs. We installed test plots, one at St. Peter's Church. The grad students called it the church site. And the other set of test plots was at the Slack Funeral Home on Old Columbia Pike. So this is some pictures of the biochar being installed. On the right, you can see the soil is darker. And then on the left is the unamended test control plot. This study reinforced what the University of Delaware had seen in other research that they've done, which is that biochar soil amendment has an incredible ability to help infiltrate stormwater. And you can see here at the Slack site, it increased almost to 100% over the control, which infiltrated at 40%. And we didn't see quite as good results at the church site. And they think that those factors are related to the soils. It is very dependent upon the type of soils that you're amending to, but it's still very promising. And so that brings us to the Adopt a Drain program, which we would like to see as part of our ability to have a sustained presence in Ellicott City. Now that we've completed our Ellicott City Soak It Up campaign, we don't want to just get up and leave. And we want to do more than the debris management. We want to have some of our own outreach and engagement efforts that are through our nonprofit, Howard EcoWorks. So Adopt a Drain is modeled after a program in Norfolk, Virginia. And I learned about this program from going to the National Academy of Sciences, held a resiliency workshop there that included Ellicott City as a case study. And Norfolk presented about their Adopt a Drain program. And it seemed to make a lot of sense to me. The goals of the program are to address a maintenance need, which is to clear off the drains, to engage volunteers in meaningful activities, to complement and support the work of Howard County government, which is what we always endeavor to do at Howard EcoWorks, is to not, do the same things that they're doing, but figure out the best ways that we can complement what they are doing. And as I mentioned, to have a sustained presence in Ellicott City. So this effort was started with an initial small grant from BG&E, and then we ran through that, getting the pilot up and running, the program up and running with the support of Jordan and Virginia. And then that funding ran out in fall, and we started to get some private sponsorships, of which Virginia mentioned, and we're very thankful for those. And now that we've learned that BGE is going to give us another grant. So we'll have another $2,000 grant that can support tool sets for volunteers to adopt more drains. And lastly, I wanted to let you know about the Tiber Watershed Makeover event that we're hosting on March 6th. This is a year after Gordon Ramsay came to town. We're going to be out with our volunteer base cleaning up the watershed and managing mostly invasive vines in the forest and in the watershed. So it's March 6th from 10 to 12. We still have a few spots left for volunteers. We're looking to get 80 to 100 volunteers, and we are getting pretty close on that number. We're going to have an orientation for volunteers on March 3rd at 6:30. The county executive is expected to join us to kick off the event at 10 a.m. Some of the local businesses are going to be offering specials that day. La Palapa, the Phoenix, Manor Hill and Georgia Grace, I believe we're going to have specials. And then after the event, we're going to host a after party on Zoom with our specials and share photos from the day. So that's all that I had to share with you. And I'm going to now pass it back to Virginia.
Thanks, Lori. Really excited about the Watershed Makeover. So as Lori mentioned, one of the goals of Adopt a Drain is to prevent future flooding in Ellicott City by keeping critical storm drains free of debris to prevent anything that would block the flow of water into our stormwater systems. So currently we have 11 volunteers and their families with 17 of 41 drains adopted. So we have less than half of our critical drains adopted. And there's still many, many drains out there. You can see which drains have been adopted as well as the ones that are still orphans by looking at the map we have on our website. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you the website and kind of how to use the map. All right, so this is our website, howardecoworks.org/adoptadrain. Here you can see a few photos of unhappy drains and happy drains, as well as our sponsors, a quick overview of the program, a video of how to clear your drain, and all the way at the bottom here is the map, and you can click on that. It's a My Maps application, and you can zoom in here on the cross streets of Main Street on Ellicott City and see most of our drains are downtown, and I do believe that there is some discussion of moving up into Oella here. But at any rate, the bulk of the drains are down here in the downtown Ellicott City, and then there's several critical drains higher up on Main Street. And as you can see, the drains that are in green have been adopted, and then we have the blue ones are orphan drains that still need a sponsor or an adopter. Those drains that have grates have a star indicated. So if it matters to you to do a curb cut storm drain or a graded drain, you can see which of those are indicated here on the map. Okay. So when you first signed up to Adopt a Drain, you completed several forms, one of which was a promise to remove drains, to clear your drains when prompted. This is what we call a call to action, and that is sent a minimum of 1 day before or after a rain event, holding at least a ½ an inch of water in less than 24 hours. Our goal is to always have the drains free of debris before the next rain event. So you get these calls to action in your emails, and that is your prompt to check your drains as soon as possible. It's always up to your own schedule to decide how soon that is, but like I said, we always hope to have the drains clear before the next rain event. Now, you're always welcome to check on your drain at any time. Several of our volunteers have drains on their commutes home. So if you're walking your dog or walking home from work and you feel like you'd like to go ahead and check your drain, you can go ahead and do that. But it's always important to remember that when you check on and or clear your drain, you always report it to Howard EcoWorks using the Google form provided in the call to action. It's very important to complete these forms. Our progress and success of this volunteer program relies on these progress reports that we report to the county, and we collect our data through these forms. The form is pretty simple. It's a Google form. It's easy to do on your phone. You can do it on your browser too. And we always encourage you and want you to take pictures of your drains before and after. So I'm going to share my screen again and show you how easy the form is to use. So, all right. There we go. That's it. Just fill in your name, your date, your drain, whether it was clear or clogged, how much material you removed. This is always an estimate. Any thoughts or concerns about the drain, and of course the photos. So speaking of concerns for your drain, If you find anything concerning or dangerous in your drain, you can report it to Howard County's See-Click Fix website. It's actually a pretty cool website to use. You can use this website to report anything from roadkill or a tree down in a pathway or graffiti, but we use it if you want to report something like a dangerous chemical, oil, something that you wouldn't want to touch, like a syringe or something that's too big for you to remove from the drain. You can report it to the See-Click Fix website, and I'll share my screen again to show you how to use that. I believe there's an app that you can use on your phone, but I find the website easier to use. I think the app is a little bit crowded, but I'll go ahead and share that. And you can even report potholes. How cool is that? I have lots to report on potholes. So click Tell HOCO, New Request. All right, and scroll all the way down here to, what is it, Drain, Roadway and Drainage Concern, I think was the one we would want to use. Click that, find your location. Okay, let's go ahead and put in the office just for fun. There we go. Okay, and I know for sure that there's a storm drain kind of about here. Confirm location. At that point, you would add a photo. If not, you can always click no photo. And then describe, for example, there is a can of paint in the storm drain, for example, and then you would confirm those details, and then you'll be provided, I think, with an update, and then you can always go back and view the request and the progress on those requests. Snow and ice control looks like it's a popular one, lots of cool photos. So yeah, this is a pretty cool website and lots of people use it, but you are welcome to use it, and I encourage you to use it for anything that concerns you at all for clearing your drain. Okay. So remember, while you're out checking on your drain, please wear the safety vest that we provided and the gloves too. You've also been given a rake and a dustpan to help scoop away the debris. You can put that debris in a trash bag to throw away. If you do not find any trash in your in the debris and it's just leaves and sticks and things like that, I encourage you to compost it. If not, just dispose of the debris like you would with your trash. And there's an instructional video on our website, I showed you that before, with further information about how to clear your drain. So we're still working on improving this program, but our goal is a team of volunteers ready to mobilize and report before and after a rain event. So this work is so important and it's effective, and really it's volunteers that make this work. And we're lucky to have only 2 calls of action so far, but keep in mind we're approaching the rainy springtime season, so I'm sure we'll be sending out many more calls to action, and I encourage you to keep checking your email, keep checking for calls to action from adoptadrain@howardecoworks.org. So now we'll open the discussion to volunteers and or sponsor information on your opinions on the program and what we can do to make the program better. So I'll turn over the discussion to Jordan.
Sorry, I was muted. So this is meant to be sort of a group discussion, like a roundtable ideas session, where we would, ask some questions about how you feel with the program and ways we can improve, because we're still learning as we go with this program as well. But since we don't have the greatest turnout, I think what we're going to do is include these questions in the email when we send this video out. And if you don't mind helping us out, it's just 3 pretty quick questions. If you could just let us know, based on your experience on the first couple events, how you feel, just confidence-wise in terms of communication, safety, tool management, and maybe any way we can get some more of these drains adopted so we can wrap up all the drains in Ellicott City. So if you don't mind helping us out with that in our response email, we would really appreciate that. So like I said, we'll include that in the email and we'll make sure everyone gets that, and we'll crowdsource some ideas from that. Thank you.
Yes, and if you know anybody who would want to adopt a drain, we're thinking about local organizations like Girl Scout troops, Cub Scout troops, the Rotary, civic associations, HOA clubs, anything like that. I don't think this qualifies as a master gardener or like a master naturalist volunteer hours, but anybody out there who would want to volunteer or get involved with all of the efforts in Ellicott City, please send them our way, and also please send them to the Tiber Watershed Makeover. Like Lori said, the slots are filling up quickly, but we still have some open. I'm really excited about it. I will be leading the St. Luke's volunteer effort. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you all soon. But thank you again for attending our Adopt a Drain meet and greet. I hope to see you at the next one.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Cool. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Vicky.
Thanks, Vicky.
See you soon.
Okay, we'll see
Bye.
you on March 6th.